This video is gonna be about trying out my computers that I've had in storage for a long time. Right here. Yeah, this is the Apple. It's an Apple IIe computer. This is what I used to use in school, like in the junior high school. I one time had a class using this computer where they had like a shitload of these in school, and they had to really lock down the schoolroom every night because people would want to steal them, you know. Because a computer like this Apple would have cost about, back in the day, these cost, how they call it, these cost like about $1,400 to buy back in the day. This one was more expensive because this one had 2 disk drives. See, some of these in my school had 2 disk drives. See that computer? I bought this one way back in '96. You know, I bought this one at a thrift store. I found this one at the thrift store back in 1996 for I paid like 25 bucks for it. 25 freaking dollars I paid for it only. And this monitor, paid $5 for this back in 1996. And like in the 90s, they had a load of these things for sale. I mean, they always had this or the Atari. I mean, they had a shitload of Atari computers and Commodores. Back in the day, they had a shitload of those available to buy, and they were selling them for like, I mean, the computers are typically like $3 or $5 each, without all the hookups, though, of course, and everything. And I was buying a bunch of them before, including this one. But sadly, later on, I sold off most of my stuff. But it was like on eBay though. I kept them for quite some time, and then I sold them. But oh well, what can I say? So this computer, I'm gonna hook it up. Remember that? Only problem though is I have to actually know where I'm going to get the power cord. Can't totally remember this. Remember these. I wonder if I have my discs in here or not. Or if this is for the Atari or for the I think this is for the Atari. I think the Apple. This is like the discs that you guys saw on my video. These are the original discs. See that? Is this for the Apple or for the... No, I think this is for the Atari. Dang it. I gotta be careful with these things. This is for the Atari. And then the Apple, I guess all the discs for the Apple is here. Yeah, so... video. I gotta borrow this from the DJ equipment. I gotta plug it in over here. I hope it reaches. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll just plug it in over here. Okay, I got this plugged in. I haven't used this computer in a long time. It's been a long time since the last time I used it. I'm wondering. I don't even know. I think it's on. That is working. Remember that sound? The beeping sound? I'm going to close the garage because it's too bright in here. You know, I don't even know if it's going to work or not. Actually, I haven't even plugged it in, I don't think. Where's the plug? I have this for the monitor. Gotta plug in the monitor. I've got the monitor. I wonder if it's even going to work. Yeah, it does work. It does work. I don't know how good it does. Time, so now I'm going to try this. I can remember this. Apple presents Apple. I wonder if it's going to work. I haven't used it in a long time. Yeah, I don't even know. God dang, it fucking works. Shit, remember this shit? I might want to move this a little bit because I don't want that light to bother. Totally, man. You guys remember that in your school? That's totally, man. Apple presents Apple. Remember these green monitors? Remember these? In 1982. Yeah, that thing still works right now. Mechanized. Yeah, remember this? And I remember I thought that was pretty cool, like the graphics and stuff. Back in my days, it was really cool. I thought it was really cool. It was too cool. I'm gonna stop this because I'm gonna play some of the programs that I made for this in 1996. I got another one. That's the older. I don't know if it's this drive or that's mine. Oh no, that's for the Atari, I think. Totally. Yeah, I did that. I programmed that. I forgot how to do this. How is it? I programmed this, and I remember I used to love. I liked graphics, control reset. Remember list control. It's not gonna understand. It won't know small letters. If y'all remember that. With these computers, it did not understand you if it typed everything in small letters. List. And then remember on these computers, we used the command catalog to check the contents of what's on the disk. Let's see, random. Apple prompts. And then I remember I used to either type in load or run, and then the name of the program, random. Remember that? Trip on that. Well, I did this. I don't know what this is. I think I have no this computer back in the day. Control reset. No, that's only one of the things that I remember. And then remember, I'm going to type in catalog to find out what's on this disk. Apple Prom. I don't know what program that is. Well, anyway, I want to change the disk. I don't know if there's anything on this one or not. Catalog. This computer, the way we delete is with these keys. Another one, I just made a copy of this. So I'm trying to see what else I have in here. I know I have several. Okay, this one, I made a program. This was in 1996, you know, I made these in 1996. Catalog. This is where I have all of my, this is stuff I made. I made all this. Shit. Is there a word shit in there? Okay, run. Oh. Wait a minute. Run and shit. Shit, okay, let's find out what it is. What? Oh. Which one? Find new payment, new balance after each payment. Okay. How much do I owe? Let's say that I owe $5,000. Interest rate is 20%, let's say. Okay, I know it. This program. I kind of made this program. Actually, I made this program so that way I could kind of like do my, so I could I'd call it interest yet, or we were paying 20%. That would be kind of a lot. Oh well. List. Remember this? I'll tell you. Remember these programs. I'll tell you. Catalog. Syntax error. That's funny because I made this. I've made a program. I made programs like this was going on to like 96. I made all these in 1996. Okay. I'm gonna have a cell phone number. God dang. Okay, let's see. Let's try to run pizza. This is typically the things that I used to program on these computers in school. Now we used to make simple programs. You know, like we would have get the computer to ask us what we want, and then we would have the choices, and then we would have an input, a string, and then we would tell the computer what to print with each input that we put. That's what we used to do. And then we would program whatever we wanted to say with each input. That's an example of a program. And that's what I used to do back in the day. Catalog. Run crazy line, because I saw a program by the name. Oh, okay, I did it wrong. Run. Yeah, I did. think now I'm gonna get onto the Atari. Okay, well, let me see if I can fit the Atari in here or not. I believe I can fit the Atari in here. Well, that's nice, you know, these things still work. I don't know about the Atari though, because the Atari, because I used to beat the thing up when I was a kid, and I don't know how well it's taken it over the years, but anyway, well, here's the Atari. Shit, I don't know how easy it's gonna be for me to carry this. I'll have to make it lighter by removing this. So and then remember home. Okay, and then this is the stuff I had in 1985, or yeah, 85. I made this book, cause this is all, and then this is where I had all my programs, all my cassettes, you know, all the 500 cassettes that I owned. I wrote down like all the programs and then where it's located at, which tape it's on, and then what side it's on, and then on the counter I would begin it. I would have to forward the tape to about whatever it said, and then the end count was, and that's how I did it back in my days. I had a lot of programs here, as you can see it. And then, you know, and then this book, I made this book for 19, that's interesting. But I think most of these programs I already saved, and this is a little story right here about the camcorder, the Fisher Price I was talking about one time. You know, remember that? And then the camcorder that I bought, a full-size camcorder. Shit, totally remember all this. And then these programs, actually, shit, all these, I did all this, all these programs I made. The Nightshade Hints, the game. I have a ton of programs for this computer, for the Atari. And then this is part of the cassette recorder. This is like the motherboard of it. And then somehow I discovered while I was getting a bunch of errors, and it was because of these things, these capacitors or whatever they are. I bought these and it stopped most of the errors, but I was still getting a lot of errors. So this computer, dang, where's the rest of it? Oh, dang it. My computer is it? Dang. Anyway, you know, it works or not. Dang. I wonder how heavy this is. Shit. Took out. Oh, shit. Struggling to get this out. Shit. Well, I got it out. But now, this computer. Oh, dang it. It's gonna be a challenge for me to get this out, maybe? Hey. Oh, shit. Ah, dang it, I don't know how to stop it. Shit. Dang it. Yeah, man, I don't know how much of a chance this is gonna work. I don't know how this got in here. Dang. I wonder how much of a chance this is gonna work. things to get it to work. This computer, yeah, I don't know what happened to my logo. Oh, dang. I don't know, man. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. These are the games that I had for it. Remember these games? See, the Atari was better than the Apple because when it came to games, the Atari was better than the Apple. I like the Atari better, you know, like in my days. But, you know, shit, I hope it works, because I don't know. I don't know how much of a chance this is going to work. Got beat up in storage. I'm not really sure if this is going to work or not. Well, I'm going to turn off this Apple for now. I didn't really actually have to, but I had to plug in 3 different things. I'm wondering if this computer works or not. No, it probably will work, but I don't know. Really. Last time I used it, it worked. And sadly, you know, this thing crashed. Oh, I know why now. This chip. I'm missing this chip. I don't know how this chip happened. Yeah. Same thing that happened Okay. Well, after fiddling around with that chip a little bit, I don't know why I was outside. I really don't know why I was outside of the computer and why this was actually taken apart, or why. I don't know why it was like that, though, really. But anyway, I got it to work, you know. It's working. It's a working computer. This one also, the same thing. It doesn't understand you. It won't understand small letters. It's only large letters that it understands. The Atari computer. This is the original computer. I'm the original owner of this. Original computer. Since 1984. Okay, well, you know, I gotta load up a disk now. Where's my disk for this computer? I had not turned this one on in years. Probably about 10 years. You know, I hadn't turned it on in like 10 years. This is the first time I'm turning it on in 10 years. So this, the green book cassette program. See, these are, like, I put all my cassette programs onto the disk. I wonder if it even worked. I haven't, it's not even plugged in. Shit, hang on. I don't know. I would assume it is. I'm assuming it's working. I have no idea. Maybe because I have some settings. I just hadn't used it in a long time. Supposed to work. Supposed to turn on. It's plugged in. Maybe because there's a switch back there. You know, I don't know. But it's probably just a simple. These switches on the back of the disk drive had to be set up a certain way. The switch. This is the original disk drive right here. This is the one that I show you the video of right there, right there. This is the video you saw. This is the original disk drive. And I'm assuming it still works. But, you know, I'm not really sure. I mean, I think that's the setting for the disk. This is on. I'm not sure why it's not turning on though. Or why it's like it's not connected, or it's not like, I mean, it turned on. The drive does turn on. But it's not like it's like it's not connected. It's not connecting. Oh, now it is. Now it's just a loose control. It's just a loose. I mean, it was just loose. I just had to wiggle it, or see, I did all this. See all this? See, look at all the programs that I had. This asterisk here. I mean, I put that there. I mean, this tells me that the program is protected, meaning that I cannot accidentally delete it, you know. But on this computer, it's a little bit different. I mean, it doesn't work the same way the Apple does, evidently. I mean, well, what do I remember? I can't even remember. Well, yeah, we used to do the same thing, the run. But the thing was, we had to, for an example, scooter expenses. Like for an example, I had to type in run, and then this, which means disk drive, and I had to put the quotes, scooter. And then I used to have the extenders. Yeah, I used to see. I mean, I was just. That's how I used to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was like really into my scooter back in my days. And then I used to typically write the date when I made the program. like for this case, I'm not really sure. I used to put the date. I used to put the date when I made the program. Well, this computer does not have the catalog, the command, but I mean, like we used to use this command that it's called a ZIO, or like it's like this, like this, ZIO, and then we typed in a set of numbers and everything, but that was like, so I mean, well, you know, this computer we had to go through a little trouble. In this case, actually, it shows it right here. This IO. Oh, well, you know what? Open. Well, I mean, I used to have these crazy commands, you know, but I wouldn't even know anymore on how to do that. Well, anyway, I'm gonna run this, and then I used to control and one to pause it. Yeah, all this computer. Well, this is all kinds of stuff. I made a bunch of these programs. 98, and then, you know, what do I remember? Running machine. I used to program graphics. I used to program graphics and stuff. Triangle, scooter. Problem skill. Okay, let's see. Run. Yeah, this computer still works good. Wow. Unbelievable. Trying my computers after like shit, 10 years. And I'm the original owner of this, and I had this since 1984. 34 years as of 2018. Still works, although it's dirty from storage, but I mean, this is my little childhood life, you know. It's kind of like, if you want to pause it, that's fine with me. This is not a secret, you know. But, yeah. This is the things I complained about as a kid, as a youngster, like 12, 20 years old, you know. This is no secret, you know. No, this is not a secret. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I actually wrote a diary on this computer. That was my diary. Run. D. Log. And then this 1984 pizza program is a program that I made on the very first day that I got the computer for Christmas. Yeah, it works like new for being 34 years old. And this disk drive is 30, almost 30. I mean, never had a problem with this. Never had a problem, but the reason why the computer is like this is because I beat it up. Despite of me beating it up, and I mean, it withstood me. It stood up on me, you know, it stood up for me. And then it's like, this computer, like that chip that I was showing you right there, that I was messing with them because I just got really curious about how the chips look, and it was kind of fun taking them out and stuff, and I wanted to see what the computer does without the chip being there. And I was taking them out so many times, and then eventually I broke one of those chips, and then I was lucky enough, like 2 years later, to find a parts computer to get that chip out, and then I got it to work again. See, I mean, I could not find a parts computer on eBay because there was no internet back then, so I had to be lucky to find a parts computer. I had to be lucky to find a thrift store that had these, but these were always really hard to find in the thrift stores for whatever reason. this is what I made this program as a kid. I was 14 years old when I made this. I made this when I was 14 years old. And I spent about a week. I spent a week making this program. Took me a week. Or even more. Well, it was like actually a week. Actually more than a week, Yeah, why not? Play video games. But the thing was, play video games. But it was not really actually video games. I was only able to program pictures. Pictures of it. And this was me, this is me trying to program a picture there, that was me trying to program that. I spent a lot of hours doing this back in the day, I got really into my computer. Got really into it, So, and then, I'll tell you. So that was this. I made this. And then along with quadzillion other, I owned this computer for quite some time. I used it basically until like 1990 or so. And during my childhood, like from the time when I first got it until about maybe 1987, 88, that's where I made the most programs. See, as you can see it, the date when I made that. See, 37 hours. And I made this in 1984 and 85. See, it took me a week. No thanks. And then, I wanted to make it all fancy and stuff. Okay, I'm wondering if I'm gonna run another disk. Let's try it. This thing works. I like this program. This is cool. Ship. I like this, Well, I programmed this. Pictures, basically pictures. And then, I used to draw pictures. Like some of these programs, you know what? I'm gonna run another and then when I started getting better at the computer, I started getting sophisticated. My ability to program the computer began becoming sophisticated. 1987. This is 3 years later that I made a new program, a new pizza program, and this became more sophisticated. I got better and better. Yeah, I tell you, it works like a dream still. I tell you, I did all this. It's hot in here. Well, anyways, see, my menu is more sophisticated. Say I want a large pepperoni. I said I'm not gonna know because I typed in wrong. See, it did it again. A large pepperoni, and then I want a large Dr. Pepper 6, and then that's it. And then I programmed all this. Shit, man, I wish I could buy that for that price. I'll tell you. And then I just type in a number, It changes. Yeah, I want to do something. But this time, instead of programming pictures, I wanted to program like something cool. I wanted, line doodling. I wanted to do some cool stuff, I wanted to make a, Here's a joystick. I wonder if the joystick even works or not. Damn, man, this shit still works. Damn. I mean, I was able, I programmed. I mean, I was able to do things like this going on to the later years. I loved it. I loved the ability to do this. You know, I could draw stuff. Yeah, my kids will love this right now. My kids will love this. And then I base bar to erase it. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. God dang, it still works. Thank God. I mean, I gave it a specific time. I don't know why I'm doing that. Play a map or make music sounds. Bell horn. Okay, well, I'll just say bell horn, I guess. Continuous horn. For lower pitch sound, I would press the shift. Oh yeah. Oh, and it's telling me my order is ready. I did it pretty good, I tell ya. I did it good, man. There's my order. Finish. La Puente Pizza. Now I'm gonna stop the discs for now. And then record. I made everything fancy, you know. Yeah, you know, I made it pretty fancy, you know. I mean, now this is a program I gotta show you. I like this. I programmed it and I loved it. I mean, I tell you, that was a big thing for me, you know. Blast off. That was really cool. I know I say I did this and I did that too many times, but it's just, I mean, it's hard to help it. You know, blast off. I did this. This is fun. I loved it. I loved how I did this. That's cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna. Turn off the disc and I'm going to play a game. There's Pac-Man, computing language, asteroids. I think this is Frogger. This game, I'm the original owner of this. It's Frogger. Back in our day, I tell you, I love that game, man. I don't know what game this one is, but Middle, Easel, Defender, Kicks. There's another game I really loved. Didn't I have a game? Well, actually, I probably have some in here. I'm not really sure though. I don't know. I had another game. It was Gyrus. I think this one is Gyrus. I tell you, I loved that game back in the day. You know, I don't know where that Gyrus game. I think this is probably it. not really sure. I have to find it. God damn, man, these games work good still. Wow, anyway, I'm not worried about that later. Kicks. I loved this game, I tell you. That game, I tell you, I loved this game back, and I'm the original owner. And I tell you, I love that game. You know, I'm missing some games. I think they're probably here somewhere. I know I have more. I have more games. I'm not really sure where they're at. I really don't know. I have more. I have more of them. Oh, there they are. That's what I thought. Now, this game right here. This is a game, my very first game that I ever bought for this Atari. And, you know, this game, I had this game, you know, like, I had it since 1985. Shit, I still haven't even found the Gyrus game. It's in there somewhere, probably. Oh, well, not that I care, but, god dang, man. It's in here. Now, here it is. This is the game I really loved. I loved this game. But I got, you know, most of these games, I got them going into the 90s, in mid-90s. So, my God, this shit still works like brand new. I tell you, these things are beasts. Not like some of today's computers, you know, shit. These things can last forever. Oh, I loved this game, man, back in my day. And it works like a dream. 1985. Well, I'm not the original owner of this game, but this is something I bought in the 90s, mid-90s. Remember that shit? Well, here is the very first game that I ever owned in my entire life on this computer. Well, this one needs to be cleaned. I'm gonna tell you, this older stuff can take a beating. They can take a beating really well. You know, not like today's stuff. Shit. Ah, this game works like a dream still. Most of these, it's only 2 games though. I played a number of these games in the past, but I only owned 2. I only owned 2 in my entire lifetime, like during the childhood days of having the computer. And it was not until the 90s, when all of these computers were obsolete, that I started finding them. Personal duplicate. Oh yeah, that. And then the computer discs, all the computer games. Well, anyway, okay. Well, I guess that's the show for the day. I'm gonna turn on the Apple one more time. So I would say comparing the 2, I would say. But you know, back in the day, you know, when I first came across a computer, 1984, when I first saw it, or when I first operated one, I fell in love with it, and it was this one, you know. I fell in love with a computer when I first used it, and I tell you, I wanted one. I so wanted one, but I didn't even want to bother to ask my mom or dad to buy me one. And then I learned about the price, $1,400 for one of these, but with a single disc drive. Damn, and I said, shit, doesn't look like I'm gonna have a chance. Shit, video camera is $1,400 already. I want one of those back then too. But it ended up being, at the end of that year, 1984, my mom and my dad bought me an Arnold disk computer for Christmas and the monitor as well. And they paid $150 for this, for the computer alone. And then the monitor was like $100 or something. And so we paid, it was it's like, and then later on I bought the tape recorder because I could not afford a disk drive, you know. Well, anyway, so I'm gonna call it the day. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it didn't bore you.